Hi, everyone. This is Miranda with the Valuable Voices podcast. I have Tessa Hopman here, and we met in a Christian podcast group. So I'm super excited for you all to hear her story, and I can't wait to hear about the Dreamer to Doer membership. So, Tessa, you're in New Zealand. So thank you for being on.
Thank you so much for having me and just like sharing all our voices with the world. I think podcasts are amazing. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, my heart is, again, just to share the valuable voices. And I feel like everyone has a story. And of course, you obviously do. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started in this.
I'm one of those people, I think Tony Robbins calls it like mess to message. Like I did not have my life sorted out at all. I was in the hospitality industry because I grew up in restaurants and I really thought, oh, that is how I can make people happy. That is how I can create an experience for them, which is fine. But it wasn't changing their lives. And it was helping people who already had a pretty sweet life and they could travel to the island. And then when I moved to New Zealand, I went into hospitality and tourism again. And it just felt so empty. You know, I don't know if you've ever had that, but I know a lot of people listening will have that when you wake up in the morning and you don't feel rested, you feel tired, and just the effort of getting out of bed and like even putting on makeup was such a bother. Half the times I didn't, but just like dragging yourself to your work and just like having to smile and pretend like you're happy, giving people like this $90 experience or whatever. And I just really felt in my soul that I was created to help other people. And I was kind of doing that, but it wasn't fulfilling me. So I had to figure it out. And I went to several coaching courses because I thought, oh no, this isn't good enough. I need more knowledge.
Yeah.
Often we get a bit stuck there. So I went, and I went to this amazing course, but he wasn't a Christian. And I could tell in his course and his material, he wasn't a Christian, even though it was amazing. And the mindset part of it was spot on. The neuroscience was good. I wanted in my soul for it to align with what the Bible said, how I should live, how I should see myself, how I should do things. So yeah, that's where my journey started. I started studying the word and then putting neuroscience next to it and combining them. And you know, when you realize that everything that the Bible says we should do isn't for God, it's actually for us to actually create the life of abundance that we want. So when I realized that, I just wanted to show people, the Bible isn't just some dusty old book. It gives us the guidelines, the manual for life. So yeah, that's me.
That's awesome. So tell us how to find you. I know you help people find their purpose in one day. So tell us what you have, again, if there's a website or where to find you. And again, how do you kind of walk in that to find your own purpose? I mean, I know you shared a little bit, but I could totally relate to many programs, many classes, many courses. I love the alignment, right? Because I am the same way. Once I found the Lord, I'm like, this needs to be in alignment or else I don't feel it in my soul and my spirit, right? So that's amazing because that just niches down some people, right? So what does that look like?
It flows probably for you, right? Like you flow from that space in your spirit and everything flows from there.
Absolutely. Yes. I love that. Totally get you on that. So what does it look like to find your purpose in one day? I know that's one of the offers you have.
Yes. So, the funny thing is, the first thing I tell people is like, stop taking yourself so seriously, stop making purpose this massive thing, and just ask yourself a simple question. What do I enjoy? Yeah. And for me, and we go through like the values track and like align yourself with that. But the simple question is just that, what do you enjoy doing? And that is your purpose. Like, don't overthink it. For me, it was helping people. Yeah. It was just figuring out how to do that on a scale that would satisfy me. And that is where the journey started. And we call it a journey for a reason. Yeah. It's not like, okay, this is my purpose and this is just going to be until I die at a ripe old age of 100 years. Like, bless God. Yeah. It's not like that. It is a journey. It's continually evolving. It has right turns. It has left turns. But as long as we know who we are in our spirit and what we are called to do, then everything else will fall into place. But we overthink purpose. And that's why we feel so frustrated and stuck because we don't have that one thing we need to go after. But God didn't create us for one thing. He made us multifaceted, multi-passionate. So yeah, that is just the biggest bulk, is just to shift your mind that it's not such a big thing and stop overthinking it and start feeling it instead.
Yeah, I love that. And I was just talking to somebody today about that. Your purpose right now or your calling could be being a mom. It could be working in a full-time job you're in. I totally get that. I think we do make it out to be this huge thing, right? And it may eventually be that, right? But like one step at a time.
Yeah, no, exactly. And as you grow in the journey, you grow. So your mindset grows, your knowledge grows, your expertise, and then you can help more people and now in a different area. So it evolves as you evolve on the journey. And you asked me where to find me, and that is also the reason why I created the Facebook group called Fearless Women of God, because I want to show people that we have so much courage inside of us because God lives inside of us. He wasn't scared, he wasn't scared to go into the temple and flip the tables and to tell them the truth. He was full of courage. He was courageous enough to get on that cross and die for us. And that is the one who lives inside of us. So yeah, Fearless Women of God is just that, to show people their true identity and that they truly can do everything that God has put in their hearts.
Love that. And this, I know, might be out of left field, but can you think of like one moment that shifted your identity, or was it just really walking consistently, right? I mean, again, I feel like I'm always going to be growing. And once I realize that, I'm never going to have arrived probably or become this person. I feel like it's always this continual growth and continual becoming. But can you think of something that just shifted your identity?
I think you come to a breaking point, and there's been several breaking points for me. So I don't want to say, once I got over that, it all became better. No, for me, it was actually, I came to a point where I didn't want to live anymore. And I was seriously considering suicide because I didn't value myself. I was literally, I only became a Christian when I was 17. It was already too late for me. Like, I've had sex, it was all out of the window. So I already had such self-loathing. I felt such used goods. And I came to a point, like, the only thing a guy wants from me is my body. I don't have a lot of friends because I've moved around a lot. My family can't even bother to phone me. I was in that self-pity party. And I was like, I don't want to be here anymore. And thank goodness God had plans for me, and he put somebody in my life to speak life into me, and I didn't go through with it. But again, it wasn't like everything was wonderful after that. I still had to go through all those things, because even though you're fed up with who you are, and still your mind needs to renew. And that's why the Bible says, transform your life by the renewal of your mind. So that was a process. And I think when you really get sick enough of who you are, of your own excuses, of your own pity parties, like, I would cry myself to sleep so often. I'm never going to get married. I'm never going to find the love of my life. And I just got tired of that. I didn't want to blame anymore. I wanted to take control of my life. So yeah, I would say that was a determining factor where it started to turn around. But it was still years and years and years after that. And again, like I said, I couldn't get out of bed. I got to that point again. So I think we come to little points in our life, and every time we take a step forward.
Okay. Are there people that have, like, for me, there's mentors and different coaches and friends that have kind of spoken to me, right? And I feel like we need community, we need people, which is again why I've hired coaches and things like that, So can you think of a couple of people or one or two people that have just called you out, like, hey, this is who you are, when you've needed it most?
So many. I mean, I wouldn't even know where to start. I think the community we build around us is going to determine what we're going to achieve. And if you have people that aren't speaking life into you, hard as it is, you need a new crowd, a new tribe. And I moved over 4 continents in like 6 years. So I had to rebuild that. But every time I knew where to start. So I always started at church. And I always found wonderful people. Like in South Africa, I had wonderful pastors who became my friends. In the Netherlands, I went to a church and a group got together and we went to do mission work, and I got really tight with that group who showed me how beautiful God is and how beautiful life is. And then when we moved to New Zealand, it was again the church and the pastors there. We moved now to a new town, and it's again the pastors in the community. So it's always looking for those people, and it's an active action, right? Looking for the people that can influence you and inspire you in a positive way. So I'm not going to go find my friends at the bar and expect to turn it, like, create a 6-figure business. It's just not realistic. So where do you want to go, and how can you find people to help you do that?
Yeah, it's definitely who you hang around, for sure. So I'm curious, how come all the moving? Was it because of the hospitality work that you did?
No, I have such a global heart. I lived in the Netherlands and I just knew I got it more from me, like bigger things. I was supposed to like travel the world. So I lived in America for a year, thanks to my dad allowing me that experience. Then wanted to move again, did my internship in Africa because I wanted to change the world. Didn't
Wow.
quite work out that way, but it was a good experience. Stayed there, loved South Africa, wanted to stay, couldn't get a visa. Moved
Wow.
back to the Netherlands, and then the guy I was seeing at that point is like, well, I'm going to New Zealand. Would you like to come along? I was
Okay.
like, well, what's the worst that can happen? You know, I had
Yeah.
Australia on my mind. And here we are, 2.5 years later, we're engaged, life's good, and we'll see where the next chapter takes us.
Awesome. That's so exciting. Well, I love connecting with you. What would you say to someone that's like feeling in that place, like that self-pity party, feeling stuck? I know I just felt so stuck and I didn't know what to do. And I know it's a decision, right? It's a decision, like you said, that says, hey, I don't want to feel like this anymore. I got to do something, you know? And most of my listeners are probably Christian, right? So besides finding the community, definitely check out Tessa's group. But again, what is that step that says, hey, I mean, again, it's a breaking point, but what can somebody do that's like, I don't know where to go from here?
Well, for me, it's a few things. So, first of all, do something different every single day. It's like the definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing, expecting different results. So, whatever got you in that pity party, do something different today. And yes, you're going to fall off the wagon. You know, when I started gymming, I still had days when I ate an entire bag of M&Ms. You know, it's going to happen. But just the next day, choose to do something like that again. So, just choose new actions that get you closer to where you want to go. And then this is not going to be fun to hear, but calling yourself out on your BS, your belief system. So asking yourself, you know, what am I thinking about right now? And where is that grounded in? Is that in truth? Like, what evidence do I have that I am fat? What evidence do I have that I'm ugly? What evidence do I have that I'm going to be alone forever? You know, if you dissect those thoughts, you realize they're not based on anything. So just having some time and really thinking about what you're thinking about, taking new actions every day. And then for me, what's been a driving factor in my life is really, because everything's based on emotion. These are reasoning, right? These are logic, but we still grab the comfort food. We still go to toxic relationships because something is driving inside of us. And as long as we don't realize what that is, we're going to keep filling it with disempowering actions. And for me, when I realized that all I wanted to do is actually show my dad that all his effort, all his sacrifice, that's like a whole story on its own, but he gave up his entire life so his kids could have a future. And me like wasting it away, crying myself like to sleep in my bedroom is not living up to that life that he wanted for us, that he gave his entire life for. And when I realized that, I just wanted to show him it wasn't all for nothing. I started to take those steps to show him, you know, and when he finally gets to heaven, I know he can see that, that I am taking actions, you know, he can be proud of me. So when you understand what truly drives you, then no matter the bad days, no matter what comes against the trials, the challenges, it's going to push you through. And when you unlock that, you become unstoppable.
That's awesome. So many good nuggets there. But finding your why, right? You hear people say, find your why. What's going to make you get up every day? What's going to make you do the hard when you don't feel like it? And just walking in that. I love that. Such good stuff. And so many people maybe hit a wall or don't want to, you know, go to those emotions and feel those feelings, right? Because that's the hard, but that's where the growth comes, right? And the breakthrough. So good, Tessa. Thank you so much. You are beautiful inside and out. I totally want to stay connected, and you guys check her out. Tell us your Facebook page one more time, and I'll put a link to it too. Fearless.
Yep. It's Fearless Women of God.
Fearless Women of God. Awesome. Well, you're doing your
so
thing and you're living your dream, and just, I can just see the joy in you and what you're doing. So thank you so much for being on.
And thank you for having me. Thank you for taking the time and listening to my story as well.
Yeah, well, bless you. And if you guys know anybody else, again, my heart is really just to share amazing women like Tessa. We've been there. You know, you heard her say, sharing her mess is now her message. And that's so true. And I feel like God takes us through those things sometimes to grow and then to now help other people that are feeling in that place. So awesome. Well, thank you, Tessa. Have a blessed day.
Thank you, Miranda. Bye.
Bye.